Let's practice some operations on powers. This here is a power, 2 to the exponent 3. So what this means is 2 times 2 times 2, the base is 2, multiplied by itself 3 times. So the answer is 2 cubed is 8. Now what about negative 2 to the exponent 4? The base here is negative, so this means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 4 times. We see that a negative times a negative is positive, and a negative times a negative is positive, and a positive times a positive is positive. So when we have 4 negative signs, we have an even number of negative signs, which ends up being positive. So this essentially becomes positive 2 to the 4. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times another 2 is 16. Now let's review some BEDMAS. We have 3 terms for this question. It's good to just divide and conquer, take one term at a time, and simplify. So let's focus on this first term. What's negative 4 squared? Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. 2 negatives multiplied becomes a positive. Now let's focus on the second term. This essentially means negative 1 multiplied by negative 2 cubed. So what we have here is a negative 1 multiplied by negative 2 cubed. Now let me just do some scratch work on the side here. What is negative 2 cubed? Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. So what we have here is negative 1 multiplied by negative 8. So that's this middle term here. And we know that 2 negatives when you multiply ends up being a positive. Let's focus on this last term. We're adding negative 1 squared. We know that negative 1 squared is equivalent to negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. So we're adding simply 1. So let's put this together. We have 16 plus 8. 2 negatives multiplied becomes a positive. You should always do multiplication first before you add or subtract, according to BEDMAS. Plus 1. So adding these numbers, we get 25. Finally, let's work on this question here. 0.1 to the exponent 6. What is 0.1 times 0.1 times 0.1 times 0.1 6 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's look for a pattern here. If we ask the question, what's 0.1 squared, we get 0.1 times 0.1. There's 2 digits after the decimal. The number 1 times 1 is simply 1, but because there's 2 digits, total digits after the decimal, we simply move the decimal 2 spaces to the left. So the answer is 0.01 or 0.01. Now if this question was what's 0.1 cubed, we would have 0.1 times 0.1 times 0.1. 1 times 1 times 1 is simply 1, but because there's a total of 3 digits after the decimal, we have to go boink, 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 which means we have 0.001, a total of 3 digits after the decimal. Similarly, when we have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, etc. 6 times, the answer should be 1, but there should be a total of 6 digits after the decimal. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits total. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Just count one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros and 1 more digit for a total of 6 digits after the decimal. So this place value here is a tenth. This here is the hundredth, thousandth, 10,000th, 100,000th, and this here is a millionth. Now it's your turn. What's 3 cubed? What's bracket -2 to the exponent 9? We have bracket -2 cubed plus bracket -3 squared minus bracket -1 to the 5. And finally, what's bracket 0.02 all cubed? Type in your answers into the comments.